Okay, welcome back to the cave. Today I want to talk about pack bait. Now, I realize we just did a pack bait video with Kevin a little while back. Hey, he's my pack bait guru. He got me back into it. And hey, what's not to like? So, hey, everybody's going to develop their own recipe and find their own comfort zone with making their own pack bait. Now, what I like about pack bait is I call it my Canadian identity. Because, hey, in Europe they use all kinds of, free offerings, and they're using solid bags and they're using mesh bags. But you know what? I don't see anybody squeezing any kind of pack bait around a sinker to cast it out. Now the South Africans, they're really good at it. When I watch their YouTube videos, they're using big giant balls of pack bait, and they've got 2 hooks in the pack bait. I love it. I love it. So let's call this our North American identity. And while we're at it, okay, we use a wet pack bait. What I see going on in the States with the dozens of videos I've watched on them making pack bait, somehow I'm fascinated with the way they use this clear corn syrup that they mix with their oatmeal and their soya meal, and they make it work for them. It might look a little bit crude. It might not be the way that we like doing it, but it's giving me ideas on maybe adapting some of their ideas and mix it along with mine. And well, the clear corn syrup, again, carp loves sugar. And what's more concentrated than corn syrup? So I just wanted to put that out there. They're catching fish, so I don't care how they're doing it. I want to do it too. And if I can apply that in the way I'm making things, it's all good. The way I'm making it now, I'll give you a little bit of history. Like I said before, I might have mentioned that before. I used to use the Method Mix, name brands, and I used to put it on the wire cages and them kind of method feeders, and it worked. But again, it cost money, wasn't always available. So I tried to stretch it as far as I could, and I put some bulk ingredients in with it. I used to put oatmeal with it. I used to put breadcrumbs with it. I used to mix it with cream corn. And I can stretch it out a little further, and I can use more of it, and it worked well. But through the years, I realized I don't need Method Mix because I can make my own. That's where I'm coming from here. Basically, it's breadcrumbs. Now, you can use any kind of breadcrumbs. You can save the crust and the heels from the sandwiches that your kids aren't eating, and you can make your own breadcrumbs. Panko is my favorite. But, hey, you want to use shake and bake? All the power to you. You want to grind up some pellets or something else? All the power to you. It'll work. You can adapt it in what you're doing. Now, what I'm doing, I like using what they call old-fashioned oats or large flake oats. All good. Now, we were lucky enough, we had a friend that gave us some oats from the food industry. Now, this is more like a minute oats. It's a little finer. It's all good. It's still oats. It works. The Panko, very good. Now, here's something I got from the American way of thinking. This is soya meal. Now, it's a nice gritty texture. And once it's hydrated with the different kinds of moisture I'm putting in my pack bait, it'll take on flavor. It'll bulk up my pack bait. That way I don't have to use so much of all the other ingredients. I love the idea, and a bag of soya meal will cost you $15 at your feed store. Again, all good. Now to flavor my pack bait, I like using my protein powder. in my favorite flavor, banana cream pie. What's not to like? Now, pie filling, pudding mix, jello, vanilla, you can't go wrong. Vanilla has always been a staple. It's been one of my first flavors I've ever used, and it's going to be my last. So that's what I'm using for flavor. I'm putting in niblets as nice little golden balls in my pack bait. Once it breaks down, there ain't no carp that can resist a niblet. Now again, cream corn. Now you can grind your niblets into cream corn. It does have a certain kind of flavor, but the cream corn, it's got sugar, it's got salt, all good ingredients, and again, it's a moisture content. Now, last couple years, again, with the moisture content, the flavor, banana, pineapple, I love a can of crushed pineapple in with my pack bait. Again, it's giving it moisture. I can adjust how much moisture I got in there, how much it packs, and again, no carp can resist pineapple. I used to catch carp on pineapple tidbits. Put it on the hair, the fish pick it up. Good stuff. I forgot to mention that in with my particles mix, because usually when I thaw out a bag of corn, next day before I go out, I put a can of pineapple tidbits in there. Now you've got some nice sweet juice in there, you got chunks of pineapple, what's not to like? So, I think I pretty well covered my ingredients. I didn't talk about salt much, even though I plan on using more of it. I haven't got the right rock salt yet. I'll wait till I can find a good deal and maybe buy a 20-pound bag of whatever kind of salt. I hear they really look for it after a long winter for the carp. They need it in their metabolism, they need it in their system. Hey, if they need it, I'll give it to them, whatever it takes. So, that pretty well covers the ingredients. You can use all kinds of other glugs in there if you want, your other kinds of syrups. You can use coffee sweeteners. You can use alcohol. You can use Baileys. You know, they make a banana liqueur that you can buy in the Caribbean. I'm looking forward to getting some of that because it's not to like. Let's make a batch. Okay, so usually when I'm fishing, I'll use this big scoop to make up my batch. Right now we're going to make a smaller batch, so I'll use my smaller scoop. So, hey, it's not rocket science. Panko. I buy a 25-pound bag at Costco's for 40 bucks. I'll go through maybe 2 bags a season. This is what's left over from last year. Love Panko. 2 scoops of that. Oatmeal. Well, I've got to push the envelope. I'm not satisfied with just minute oats or large flakes, one of each. So you'll probably notice I'm using 1-to-1 with breadcrumbs and oatmeal. So that was 2 scoops of panko, 1 scoop of minute oats, 1 scoop of old-fashioned large flake. All good. Now, it's like I said, the last little bit, I saw the Americans putting in some soya meal in with their pack bait. I like it. So, it's a little coarse. 1 scoop of this. Once it's all mixed up, you can't even tell there's soya meal in there. Okay, so that's basically my main ingredients as far as my dry mix. Now I'll add some flavors. Vanilla pudding. Nice powder, nice dry mix. I'll usually put a whole bag. Right now this bag's already open. We'll put that in there. That'll give me some flavor. What I like about that in the dry mix, I'm picturing when it hits the water. So now that's melting down and that's dispersing in the water column. And I'm hoping that 50 feet downstream, a carp is smelling that and he's going to go looking for it. So, vanilla flavor, all good. You can't go wrong with vanilla flavor. But, that being said, protein powder. Banana cream pie. Loving it. I eat that every day in my morning green shake. One good big scoop of that. There again, that's all water soluble. It'll give off a scent trail. The fish are going to find it. So we've got our flavors. Good. Now that's not too much there. That's a nice dry mix. Now it's got flavor. So now we've got to put some moisture in there. You can use cream corn. You can grind down your own niblets. Now, since this is a small mix, I won't use a full can. Now, when I'm using the big scoop, 2 parts panko, 2 parts oatmeal, protein powder, banana cream pie, whatever, I get quite a big amount of dry mix. Oh yeah, right, can't forget a big scoop of also the soya meal. So that gives me quite a bit. So with that mix, I can mix 2 cans of cream, 1 can of niblets, 1 can of crushed, and it gives me pretty well the right consistency I'm looking for. But for right now, there isn't too much water in with the niblets, so I'm not too worried about overdoing the moisture. So there you go. The golden seeds. No carp can resist. Now, since this is a small batch, you know what? I'm not going to bother putting in the cream corn because I got some in there already. I'm going to put some crushed pineapple because now I've got more liquid and all these little bits of pineapple in there. I'm picturing the carp just rooting them out of the bottom. Okay. Don't cut yourself. So for right now, I'll put half the can. Okay. Now, some people mix it with a stick, some people mix it with a spatula. I mix it with a mixer. Isn't that what that's for? It's mixing it with a mixer. Yeah, I like it. Now, the first mixer I tried, the oatmeal and the peg bake went through the vents and it makes an awful noise in the motor. And it lasted me like a couple weeks and I burnt it out. So I learned from that. I bought myself another one and I put a screen mesh over top of the vents in the top. Now I'm not worried about any product getting inside my mixer. And well, this one's been going for a few years now. I haven't got the right beaters for it, but it works. So let's mix them up. Okay, it's a little bit on the dry side, but you know what? I can pack it pretty hard in my hand. I think that would hold well on my feeder sinkers. I'm liking it. Now, food for thought. It's packing well now. As time goes on, them oats and the other dry ingredients are soaking up that liquid. And it gets to a point where it gets dry. Now, I usually mix it the night before. I put it in a Ziploc bag Next morning, I take it out of a Ziploc bag. It's too dry. So that's when I got to decide whether I'm going to rehydrate it with maybe a little bit of cream corn or maybe some syrup, or wait till I get on the bank and I'll just put a tiny bit of water from the lake or wherever I'm fishing. And like I said, a tiny bit at a time, because it doesn't take much to rehydrate it again. Because if it's too wet, it packs too hard and it's not going to break down. Now, I use it that way in deep, fast current because I don't want it to break down quick. I want it to stay on there so the carp can find it. But in shallow, still water, well, I won't pack it as hard. I can use it a little bit drier and it'll break down quicker. So that's my rule. If you want it to go down deep and you want to use it in fast water, keep it on the wet side, and I call that my cement pack. Now, if you want it to break down quick and you're fishing dead still water, shallow water, don't pack it as tight on your feeder, sinker, whatever you're putting it on, and you'll be able to cast it out and it'll break down a lot quicker in the water. What's not to like? I've got flavor in there. I've got the golden little seeds in there. It's all good. It's all good. So, this is what I'm calling my River Rat pack. And there's no rules here. You can use any kind of ingredient, well, almost any kind of ingredient. You know, like if you're thinking the carp are going to eat it and it's working for you, it's giving you confidence, go for it. Hopefully this will give you a base on where to start. And, you know, if you don't want to put pineapple in there, I'm thinking maybe grind up some peaches in my NutriBullet. I think peaches would grind up really nice and it'd be a good addition in here. Or how about fruit cocktail? What's not to like about fruit cocktail? You know, like, it's amazing the combinations you can use, and you keep using it long enough, the carp will find it, you will hit fish on it, and like I keep saying over and over again, there's no greater thrill on hitting fish on something you made yourself. Again, thanks for letting me share this with you. Hopefully it's going to give you food for thought and let you apply it in whatever you're using. And tight line and hope you get lucky.